Hello.
Hi, this is Steve Harris calling from Tokyo. I'm calling for Huey Lewis.
Steve, how you doing? Huey Lewis here.
Hey, nice to talk to you.
Nice to talk to you.
Okay, Huey,
Sorry, we had to keep bouncing this thing around.
Hey, no problem.
Okay.
All of the day's work.
All right, good.
How much time we got here? We got about half an hour?
I got a half hour.
Okay, cool. Okay, I have a lot of the record company information and the tape in front of me here, which I've been listening to. So we'll be talking to you about the new record here.
Great.
Quite a surprise to see you guys coming back with an album of R&B covers. Why don't you tell us exactly how that came about?
Actually, it was an accident. We got together because we thought we were going to owe our previous label 2 tracks for a greatest hits album that they were going to release, whether we wanted to or not. Mm-hmm. And we just got together in order to get the kind of juices going. We played, worked up some old stuff. I mean, we played some of the old things that we used to play, like before we were allowed to play our own songs, and forgot how much fun it was, and so coincidentally during the time we hadn't got back together for a while, and Johnny had built a studio in his home, mm-hmm. and so he wanted to record something there to kind of work the bugs out of the studio. So we agreed to do Blue Monday, and kind of figured we'd do it in the old style. That obviously no drum machines or synthesizers, but also old gear and microphone techniques and everything else. And we cut it and had such a great time doing it. And we produced this tape that family really enjoyed, and friends, and Bob Brown, our manager, who said, "You guys ought to do a whole album of this stuff." Mm-hmm. And so 21 days later, we were done.
But you said you still were obliged to do a greatest hits package for your old label?
Yeah, but since that time, our new label bought the rights to that greatest hits in the States anyway, mm-hmm. from our old label, so we didn't have to do that.
So you guys had been on hiatus for a while, huh?
Yeah, I had actually I've been working on a solo record for about 9 months, mm-hmm. in L.A., which was a bit of a frustrating affair, although I wrote about probably 20 songs with different people, some of the guys in my band, but also some songwriters in L.A. as well. And I'd been recording there, which was, a little bit frustrating. I mean, Hollywood, where yes means maybe, Mm-hmm. And after 9 months, I still wasn't finished. Then we were up against this deadline to do these 2 tracks. So I got together with the boys and just kind of fell in love all over again. I forgot how good my band is, really, and how much fun we had, So we just put that on hold and did this.
What kind of people were you working with in L.A.?
Some real good guys, actually, and I still got 6 or 7 things that I'm really proud of, but mm-hmm. I just never did have a completed vision, yet.
Well, I mean, will that ever come out there? Will that ever be released?
I think so, yeah. I'm sure it will in the future.
Like what sort of specific people were you working with?
Well, I wrote some songs with Andy Goldmark and Nathan East, cut tracks with a lot of the session guys in L.A., Nathan East, Marcus Miller, Lee Sklar, mm-hmm. drummer called Kurt Pescara, a lot of session guys. Mm-hmm. Real good, real good.
Well, what sort of music were you doing? That was kind of hard to envision.
Yeah, it was a little different. It was mostly stuff, a couple songs that Chris and I had written that Huey Lewis and the News just couldn't do, and more, a little more serious, to be honest. It's hard to describe, really. It's a bit like I have to kind of play it for you.
Okay. See, a lot of the tracks on this latest album seem to sort of predate you guys.
That's right.
How did you become acquainted with a lot of these? I mean, like Your Cash Ain't Nothing But Trash, Surely I Love You, Mother-in-Law. Maybe to people from a certain age group, these might kind of seem like standards, but you seem a bit too young for that.
Thank you, Steve. In actual fact, I'll remember Mother-in-Law because it was a kind of a recurrent, but you're right. A lot of them were songs that we used to play. Function at the Junction, I've been playing since it came out. You know, a lot of the '60s stuff, early '60s stuff.
Right.
But once we'd compiled a list, well, then we kind of all did our research, and I solicited ideas from, you know, kind of an in-house informal A&R staff. You know, a few journalists I know, and some old guys I know, friends of mine who live in Birmingham, and a guy who owns a studio in Birmingham, Alabama, who's kind of a record file and like that. So we just started listening to tons of stuff.
Yes, this in-house rock and roll research staff is credited in the record company info.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we didn't know what else to call them. Really just friends, you know, and journalists. When we undertook this thing, I sort of phoned a few people and said, look, send me a tape with your 10 coolest old tunes, you know, like that.
And you were talking about sort of going back to your early years when all you could play were like cover versions. You weren't allowed to play stuff for people who wouldn't pay money to see it, I guess.
That's it.
I think a lot of the readers of this magazine, which is the largest selling music magazine here now, would like to know about that. Like, when exactly did you guys start, and what sort of covers were you playing at the time?
Well, we formed, this band has been together for 15 years, but we're really the union of two bands previous to that, for sort of 10 years before that. So, and around the clubs, we started as club bands in Marin County, you know, then you know, we've always done this kind of stuff. Really, I mean, we Buzz was on a picture of this record. So we've done a cappella oldies, So in Love for years, and when we first started, you know, and stuff. So in old bands, we've played a number of these tunes, and others as well. Yeah,
you talk about coming from the band being based on two older bands, which I guess are Clover and Soundhole.
That's it. Good job, Steve.
Well, I was brought up in San Rafael, so it's not too hard to...
Oh, really?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I saw you guys for the first time... Christ, when was it? I was still back at school, and like you were opening for, it was either the Sons of Champlin or Pablo Cruz, and you were still called the American Express at the time, and it was at the Marin Civic Auditorium.
I remember that. It might have been I remember that.
It was either the Sun, it might have been the Sun.
Pablo Cruz.
Pablo Cruz.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first time I saw you. So, and also, even like back at San Rafael High School, Soundhole would perform on the steps of the school, like during the lunch break.
That's right.
So I can remember the drummer from those days.
Yeah, Billy. Yeah.
But I mean, you know, even back then, though, you guys were performing original stuff, especially Clover. I mean,
yeah, but no, Clover. Yeah, Clover always did original stuff and recorded original stuff. But we did Long Tall Sally. We did a couple little Richard things. We used to play Blue Monday. I used to sing Shake, Rattle, and Roll. We did Ball Game on a Rainy Day, Ray Charles. A bunch of stuff, you know.
Damn, I should have called my sister before I did this interview. She used to hang out at the Lion's Share and watch you guys.
Yeah, well, we did original songs, but we always have done 3 or 4 covers as well. And my take on it, you know, when I joined Clover was kind of, I guess, 72. I'm having trouble with it, maybe 71. And I was into R&B. Clover was kind of a country rock band before that.
Right.
And so I brought kind of, you know, the R&B stuff to I used to sing Function at the Junction, I remember, with Clover, so.
So let's get back to this, the subject of changing record labels. What exactly happened? Why did you leave the old label and join the new one?
Well, we got tired of those same old restaurants. Let's see, what can I tell you? You know, we'd been with them for like 10 years, or maybe even more, maybe 11 years, with Crystal, and they kept changing record company presidents and changing stuff, you know, like normal sort of corporate takeover stuff. And finally they did that again, and they dismissed a lot of the guys who we had a good relationship with. So basically it was just time for a change. We'd been with them for 10, 11 years, you know, sold like 20 million records, and it was time for a change.
Was Elektra talking about, like, getting you guys back on commercial course, or getting you back to your roots, or what sort of strategy did they have?
Well, quite the opposite, actually. What they, you know, I think we kind of got into trouble when we started to listen to like promotion departments, and marketing people. And I mean, it's curious enough. In the beginning, we just did what we thought was right, and it worked like crazy. And then the record companies really kind of got involved, and I got frustrated trying to listen to them. Actually, to be honest, so what I wanted to do, I wanted a label that was entirely creative. It was just going to let us do whatever the hell we wanted to do, and then figure out a way to sell it. And my meeting, when we thought about other labels, we just thought about Elektra because they're very artist oriented, and Krasnow has a reputation for just leaving the artist alone and so on. And so we had a meeting with him, and that's what I said. I said, look, I don't know what we're going to do, but I want the freedom to do what I think is right, and not that I won't listen, but I want to make the records that we want to make, and I don't want to have to listen to promotion departments and stuff like that. And he assured me that was the situation, and so and in fact he's been true to his word.
One reason this subject comes up is one of the more unpleasant elements that kind of enters into the overall equation, and that's the sort of the contrast between the golden days of the mid '80s and now. Where 10 years ago, well, maybe not 10 years ago, but 8 or 9 years ago, making a hit song was as easy for you as like falling off a log. Whereas sort of the times have changed, and things are not as Huey friendly as they once were. Is it more difficult now, or did you think maybe being out of the spotlight makes it easier for you to perform as just a musician?
It is.
What you want to do?
Yeah, it is way easier now for me. It wasn't. It's and because I mean, we still do fine in that sense. The profile's diminished a little, but we're a better band than ever. So I mean, it was really about just making records that are fun to make. Doing it for the right reasons, and not really giving a darn about whether it is commercially successful or not. That the thing with this record is that it was just. I mean, we did it in 21 days, I mean, three of the tracks are completely live from start to finish. And I don't know, another label might not have been as receptive to a project like this.
Yeah, and I guess also you sort of have been, you sort of, what's the word, graduated from a certain stage. Like I can remember a Rolling Stone interview with you years ago talking about how you struggled to make a follow-up to Sports.
That's right.
I mean, you've sort of been there and back, and I guess there's no reason to go back to that stage again.
Well, I wouldn't know how to write a song for the charts anymore. I mean, when you look at them, they're just different right now, So I don't. That was it for me. So I just said, hell with it. Obviously the kind of stuff. Really, this was just something that was a labor of love to kind of. I mean, the real reason we set about to do this. I mean, the one thing creatively in this is that although rock and roll is alive and well as an attitude, maybe, or as a lifestyle, as a music style, there really is just nobody playing real rock and roll. And so that I felt was something that was. That we're set up to do. I mean, Johnny, we've been around for a while and remember this stuff, and Johnny plays saxophones and did all the horns, and we all sing, and it's kind of, these old tunes suit my voice, and it was just something that I think we were sort of better suited to do than almost anybody, really.
And one thing that sort of bonds all these songs, or what they all have in common, is like they're 3 minutes in length, which used to be the typical length of a pop song. Do you think this kind of stuff is radio friendly now? Could it play along alongside of the likes of Pearl Jam and Snoop Doggy Dogg and the Breeders and stuff like that?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have any idea. I suppose it isn't. I suppose it isn't. I mean, you don't hear. I don't know anybody who, and not only that, we did it kind of the old techniques, I mean, on some of these tracks, there's literally 3 microphones on the drums, period, from way far away and really ambient and really live, and we left things. I mean, there's little glitches everywhere that we enjoy, So as to how the record company is going to sell it, I really don't have a clue.
So what do you guys like live now? I mean, you've got these 17 tracks from this album. You've got your cover of Curtis Mayfield's "It's All Right." You've got "Buzz, Buzz, Buzz," and I guess a repertoire of other old hits. But what about like the stuff from your commercial years? How does that fit in with your stage?
Well, what we've done is we've augmented. We have a wonderful little three-piece horn section that we finally put together. We auditioned a lot of local guys, and I think we got the exact right three guys. And we have two black girl singers that we auditioned a bunch of people for, and I think we got the right girls. And we're not only doing this, mostly obviously stuff from this album, but some of the old songs as well. But giving them a new setting, if you know what I mean, giving them a kind of a rhythm and blues setting. And actually, we have, our first gig is tonight. Actually, we haven't played yet, but we've rehearsed.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fabulous. I mean, it's awesome. It's the show that I've always wanted. It's the band that I've always wanted to have. So it really is happening, I think. So we're really looking forward to this. Hopefully, the record will do enough to so that we can get around and play live, because that's really what we do best. And now, especially, this thing's, I think, really going to be great.
So. What percentage of your show, and I guess I can't really expect any concrete figures here, but approximately what percentage of your show is comprised by cover tunes?
I'll bet 60% of it.
Is that right?
It's from the new album.
Well, which is kind of ironic, I guess, because you're a band that established yourself as your own sort of self-contained unit.
Yeah.
Now you're kind of going back.
Well, just because we're doing the new album right now, I mean, you want to play the new stuff, so. Mm-hmm. That's the stuff that's fun. So I'll bet it's 60% new. 60% of the stuff is from this album, and the other 40% is from the other albums.
Mm-hmm. And how long have you guys been off the road? You're saying like tonight's the first show, and the first show in like how many months or how many years or whatever?
Yeah, like a couple of years. Well, we have done. We play. I mean, we have played and we have jammed, but we haven't done a Huey Lewis and the News show in a couple of years.
Really?
Yeah.
Would that be about the time of the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival?
Well, that's the last thing we did. That's the last thing we did.
Okay, yeah, because I can remember seeing that they showed that on TV over here.
They did, really?
Yeah, I saw you guys on that, and I was thinking, wow, what are you guys doing there? You kind of seem like one of the more modern acts.
Yeah. Well, they asked us, right? And we were flattered that they asked us, because they don't ask modern acts,
Right.
And I thought, wow. And in fact, which show was it from? Was it outdoors?
It was an outdoor show, yeah.
Yeah. Well, the night before, they also asked us. We did an indoor show with Fats Domino and Dr. John. That was really great, man. It was and that's and I was really flattered that they think of us sort of. I mean, we're not the only modern band. I think Clapton did it once or something. Something like that. But we were flattered that they asked us, so we readily accepted.
That reminds me, Dr. John is touted as one of the big guests on this record. How did your association with him come about? Was it through that festival? Is that the first place you met him?
No, I'd met him before, but our producer, Stuart Levine, produced his last record, too. And, there was a tendency on the record to do a lot of real obscure stuff. I mean, there's a bunch, needless to say, there's a bunch of tunes that we got that we can't do, that we didn't record. I mean, a bunch of stuff that we worked up that didn't make it on the record for one reason or another. And I think there was we finally made a conscious effort to include things that were accessible, that people might have heard before. And Mother-in-Law is certainly one of those. But the thing is, the reason we did that one is when you go back. I mean, everybody pretty much knows the tune, but if you go back and listen to it, it's one of the funkiest records ever, man. And it's got that lilt thing, that second line. That New Orleans feel to it. So we thought, right, if we get this thing, that's really something, so let's try and cop this, and we loved it. But then we came to the part, who's going to sing Mother-in-Law? And it had to be somebody with personality, and, we were just fishing around, and I suggested Dr. John, and Stuart called him, and he graciously accepted.
So how did it feel like when you first sat down with him and actually played?
Well, to be honest with you, he did it in New York. I wasn't even there.
Yeah, it was one of those digital things, huh?
No, not digital. No, he was. We couldn't get the schedules weren't together. So it was the only thing we had to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, in fact, I sang it myself, and we had that version, which was great. But I wanted something with a little more personality. So the only way he could do it was, as his schedule and our schedule didn't make, was Stewart flew to New York and took the tapes with him, and Mac did it there.
Mm-hmm. It says these are all other people's songs. Was there any other talk of like having other guests on, like people from the golden age of R&B or whatever?
We kind of thought about it, but it kind of got logistically a little tough. Number one, plus, we didn't want to make. You didn't want to ask one person and not, so finally it was just like, let's just cop these things ourselves and get them. We've always been fairly autonomous anyway,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, we've always, we've known each other forever, and we've always pretty much made our records ourselves, so
mm-hmm.
we figured, what the hell, we'll just do it ourselves. I mean, Mac, we probably would have done Mother-in-Law if Mac hadn't done it, we probably would have done it ourselves anyway, too.
Mm-hmm. I guess, all of you are pretty versatile musicians anyway, so.
Yeah, pretty much. We have been fairly self-contained. We all sing, and like I say, Johnny's always done all the horns,
mm-hmm.
and, so we are the six of us, we record like a 10 or 11 piece band,
Mm-hmm. The other guys there, were they, during this, quote-unquote hiatus, had they been thinking about other things? I mean, are they sort of committed to the band as permanent members, or was there a crisis there for some time, or what exactly happened?
They all did different things. Chris has a little jazz band that he did that he put together with his brother and two other guys. In fact, his sax player in his jazz band is now playing baritone for us. So, and he did that for a while, and Johnny has his own studio that he's been working the bugs out of and recording material for both for his own edification and for writing for us. Mario played with Craig Chiquiso for a while, and a bunch of people around town. And Sean has his own recording studio that he immersed himself in and does like jingles and ads and stuff. So they all keep busy, musically.
Mm-hmm. Are you guys all still located in the Bay Area?
Yep. Same place.
Does that put you in touch with certain music, or does that keep you sort of cloistered away from what's going on, or how exactly does that influence what you are musically?
I don't think it does. I mean, it's a great place to live. We don't sound. I don't know. I don't think we sound like we're from San Francisco somehow. If there used to kind of be a San Francisco sound. Now there isn't. I mean, Soundhole never sounded like they were from San Francisco, and Clover didn't really either. We sound like we're from Austin or New Orleans or something, So I think that's the music we've always liked. We've always liked, sort of rootsy stuff, and so I guess. But by the same token, we love living in the Bay Area. So.
Well, there's always been sort of an R&B influenced vibe in the Bay Area. Certainly, the Sons of Champlin, Tower of Power.
Yeah. That's right.
Other bands as well. Do you get out very much to the clubs and see what the other people are doing and stuff, or is that not part of your life?
Truth is, not as much as I used to. Where I get out is when we're on the road. Like we're in Miami, and we went out last. We go out when I'm on the road a lot, but I got kids, so I'm home. I'm pretty hungry. I get out occasionally, but not as often as I should, I suppose.
How about your own personal taste in music? Have you sort of retired as an active music fan, or do you try to keep up with what's going on?
No. I like all kinds of stuff. I really do. I mean, in fact, I like modern stuff. I like the Johnny Gill stuff and the SWV and Tony Braxton's new record, and I like some country stuff. I like Alan Jackson is awesome, I think. Let's see, what else am I forgetting? I really do like everything, but and there's lots of good music around. There just isn't any rock and roll, I think.
So tell me about this tour you're embarking on that starts tonight.
Well, what we're doing now is just a few isolated gigs to kind of get our act together for a European tour that we're going to start with in end of May, and we're going to go we'll be in Europe for about 6 weeks, and then I don't know. Then either come back and do the States, or take a break and maybe get to the to your section of town down there to the Far East, or Australia, and then do the States. I'm not sure yet.
Oh, yeah. Do you find that the European audiences have become more receptive than, say, the audiences at home? Because they seem to have greater appreciation of, like, traditional American styles.
I mean, boy, it's really amazing. I mean, in France, we've never really sold any records. I mean, I bet we sold 10,000 records. We sell. I mean, I'm kind of making this up, but it's roughly 10,000 records. Yet we play Bercy, which holds 18,000 people. So we're a live act in Europe. We're oddly enough. I think because there's very little R&B around, and they see us as kind of an R&B band. Well,
they're not only I think you, but I mean also the actual performers of the old R&B stuff can get away with doing rather large shows in Europe that they wouldn't be able to do stateside.
I think that's true.
I mean, there are people performing at the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival who probably sell out much bigger venues when they go to Europe.
I think that's true to us, and they're a little more discerning in Europe. They know, they know a lot about our culture, period, let alone music. I mean, some of them know more about Mark Twain than we do.
So does that have much to do with the fact that you guys are going to be performing there? First of all, is it more of a?
It does. It does.
It's a much more Huey-friendly atmosphere over there.
Well, we generally have a kind of a live thing going. We have we have a cred deal going in Europe. So we'll do that, I think, first, because it's less. The tour is less dependent on how the record does in Europe. Here, depending on how the record does, that will depend on the venues and the ticket prices and all that kind of stuff. So here, I think you kind of want to let your record go a little while further.
It's kind of an awkward question, but I mean, what are your expectations sales-wise for this record? Are you just sort of expecting more of the hardcore old R&B fans to latch onto it, or do you hope a younger audience will start getting into this stuff, or what?
I have no idea. I mean, I really don't. It'd be nice if everybody got into it, but I don't know. I don't know how they're going to get to. I think people would love this. I mean, I like it a lot, right? So I would think people would like it a lot, but I don't know how they're going to get it to them. I don't know what radio stations are going to play it. I don't know how they're going to do that myself. So I really don't have any expectations. I would hope that it would find an audience.
So what does the near future hold for you? I mean, you guys are going to be taking the show on the road to Europe and whatnot, and I guess depending on the reaction to the album, your tour stateside or even the Far East will be set at that point. But
I think so. I mean, we're going to tour in the States, that's for sure, because we're loving our band at the moment. But as to, I don't even think the venues matter so much. I mean, I'd like to stay in smaller venues. And I think if we wait long enough in the fall, that'll be perfect. It'd be nice to play theaters, say. As to how many of them we do and what markets and how much the ticket prices are and that kind of stuff, we'll just have to see,
How long are you able to stay on the road at a stretch?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. I mean, we're going to Europe for 6 weeks, which is really a long time for us. We all got kids and stuff anymore, So, but I think that's a bit long. But when you go to Europe, you kind of have to do that because it's so far away. I mean, we will be on the road for a while. I mean, we're not adverse to staying on the road. I mean, to touring for a long time, but we don't tour quite as hard as we used to. We take a week off here and there. So we prefer to kind of do, like 3 weeks on and a week off or something, if possible.
But could say you'd be conceivably on the road for the better part of like a year?
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, if all things being equal, that would be wonderful. Yeah.
And then it's back to working on that solo record. Then after that,
I guess. I mean, I do. I want to get that done at some point. We'll just have to see. I'm not really thinking about that yet. I got about 5-6 things that I really like a lot. So we'll see. That sounds like something. I'm not really looking quite that far ahead yet, but that sounds like something we do. Yeah.
Definitely a back burner project, though.
Sorry?
Definitely a back burner project there.
Right now it is, yeah. I mean, it's definitely something I want to do, though, so we'll see. We'll see.
Okay, Huey, well, I think I got what I need to know.
Thanks. Very good, Steve.
Okay, well, I certainly hope to see you guys out here. Last time you were here was, gosh, I can't even remember. I remember seeing you guys with Bruce Hornsby at, like, it was a stadium here in Tokyo. So
Yeah, no, we've been there since. I mean, let's see. Where the hell do we play? Oh, I know. We played the Egg with on a big show with Henley and Adams and a couple people.
Ah, that was like a New Year's thing?
Something like that.
Yeah, okay.
And then I think we were there one other time too, believe it or not.
Yeah, I didn't want to see the other acts when you did the New Year's thing, and I had other plans that
Right.
But yeah, it'll be good to see you guys, just on your own there.
Yeah, it'll be good to see. Yeah, you must come up and say hello.
I certainly will.
Especially if you're a Santa Fe boy.
Absolutely.
All right, what are you doing over there?
I'm a translator.
Cool.
I translate, but I also do interviews on the side.
Good for you, man.
Yeah.
So you speak Japanese?
Yeah. I translate and interpret, so that's the tool of the trade, if you will.
Where did you learn that, if you mind me asking?
Berkeley.
Good for you.
Yeah, I was a major back at Berkeley. Went from Santa Fe High on to Berkeley and straight to Tokyo from there.
Good for you.
Yeah.
And you enjoy it?
Oh yeah. I wouldn't have it any other way.
I'll bet.
Yeah, this is great over here.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Real cool.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
All right, my man.
All right, Steve.
Okay, well, good luck on the tour then. Hope to see you out here.
Good deal.
Okay.
Thanks.
Bye.